Yeah, but Paul and I purchased the building, and we purchased it just to house Pizzazz. And as I mentioned, the reason for that is that when we were renting from the landlord, he kept raising our rent, and raising it. And we finally said,
You were raising it. Then you were the one who had to raise it.
And so we decided.
No, it was a bug.
Something about that. So we just decided to go ahead and we refinanced our home and then took money out of our retirement and bought this building.
Wow, isn't that cool?
And as I mentioned, the reason why we have the colors purple and red, because purple is color royalty, and we plan on giving our children royal treatment when they come in, which is what you do with the families that you serve. We decided to kind of break this lobby up because parents would come in and there would be kids all over them. And you're trying to teach kids how to have good manners and stuff like that, but it takes a while. So we created this little corner back here, and the parents go back and sit in this corner. They watch TV.
The parents get sent to the corner.
They get sent to the corner. Send the parents to the corner. They can watch TV. They can get on the computer. And then this here, we have an art program. And this is some of the artwork that the kids did. We had the San Diego Museum of Man intern to come in, and he ran a 6 weeks program for us. And then the kids did art and made little gadgets and stuff like that. We are constantly looking at ways to, number one, to bring our kids out of their box, because a lot of kids would tell you they don't like art. But when we do art, we do it with a flavor, which the students had to learn about what this artwork is. And so once they learned about what it is and they did it, they were real excited about it.
He's got a book called Out of Our Minds. And he's got a TED Talk, which is really great, which he says, our schools kind of train us out of being creative. So if you ask a young child if they're creative, they go, yeah. By the time they get like third, fourth grade, you ask them creative, they go, oh no, I'm not creative.
Oh, that's what you heard. When these kids that were in this program, they were saying, well, I can't draw.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that art is a form of creative expression. So it's not about drawing. It's about expression. This is our one of our star students here.
She's got a star written all over. Hi, I'm Jennifer. Nice to meet you.
And you met everybody else, huh, Karan?
Yes,
I
met
did.
everybody else.
Oh,
Hi, everybody. Hello, my name's Karan Davis.
Nice to meet you. Himself, so they may not be totally level, but he worked and put these walls in himself. This was just a big open space, and with freezers and a big washing unit that extended about 10 feet long. And so these are classrooms. And we do small group tutoring here, and you can see this was an actual freezer. So when they try to put the stucco on the wall, because it had some type of stuff on it, it wouldn't stick. So I told them what we're going to do this summer is we're just going to have the kids just paint on this wall. Do whatever, turn that lump into something. And then this is a library. We're in the process. When we first started the library, we only had a few books.
Wow.
And then we got more books, so we're going to put them as reference books, nonfiction, fiction, math, and language arts. And then the kids just come in and pull out a book. And if they don't, most of our kids, and probably your same kids too, money's not expended on books. So if they want to take a book home, take a book home.
Exactly.
And then we have a literacy fair that we do once a year. We have 3 off-sites, and at 2 of the off-sites we have a literacy fair where we just give books away.
Wow.
So the kids, actually, the reason why this card is a part, the kids have to come in, they clean the axles, then they have to put their brakes in and the steering mechanism in, and they have to do all of this. So they have to tear the car down and then rebuild it up. And then they have to shine and polish the cars, and they just love it.
How many do you have now? So look at all the cards you have.
Why you started this?
One of the things that happen with children oftentimes when they stop succeeding in school, they stop competing. They lose their spirit of competition because they stop raising their hands in the classroom because either the teacher is not calling on them or they just don't have the answer, and they no longer consider themselves to be smart kids. So we decided, okay, we're going to put them into a competitive environment, and that's what the soapbox derby is. But it's a competitive, but it's a team environment. So you see the kid who has worked hard, done, he'll go and help another kid. So we want to keep them teamwork and decrease their competitive spirit. And then we have volunteers, mentors, most of them males because the majority of our kids come from single parent households. This is a rally race because they race on 61st and Skyline, which is the slope is about, because it's a gravity pull race, the slope is about that. So they go through the rally because 7 and 17, they're really young, they need to get accustomed to trying to steer this little, you know what it's like, run, steer this little thing here, and remember to hit these little
buttons. I almost had a crash.
I know, I did too. So they have to, so they learn the racing techniques through the rally, and then on May 25th they have the actual race, derby race, and they're going down an incline that steep. And then the kids that come in first from that race in each of the categories, because each car represents a category, then that kid gets a kid and a parent gets a free trip to Akron, Ohio to participate in the national race.
Cool.
And that's all paid for by the Derby Association
really
in Southeast.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot of feels.
We sure do. Let me tell you, the kids love it, the parents love it. You think that they are Jimmy Johnson and Indy 500.
What age group generally participates? Like
7 to 17.
7 to 17?
As long as they can fit in a car. Because some of the kids go out of the car before they even get 17. And you see how these are garden box? They're called, if you see, look at the tree back there on the wall, it's called family garden. Because we believe that we teach our children and our families to be healthy, that they're skilled. And we'll start our program next month. And what we'll do is the kids will go through a 6-week gardening class on the physiology of plant growth, best type of soil. They'll plant their own plants, and then they'll cultivate their plants, and then then we'll have a workshop teaching them how to, the parents and the kid, on how to cook with some of the stuff that they grow.
What plants work best for you?
Last year we had strawberries, we had tomatoes, they did basil, cilantro, and this is on wheels.
So you can actually
move it.
Wow, that's really great.
We had
Did someone build this for you?
Yeah, someone built it for us. And you can check because anyone that's doing a community garden will come in and do a party. Yeah. And they provided the soil, they build it, put the soil in it, and all that type of stuff. We just have to go back and when it rained really hard, it became really heavy. So some of the corners came down, so we have to go and jack it up. And other than that, it'll be fine. So I was in a meeting this morning at 6:45. And I was saying, it's great for organizations that service kids that are making it already, the 3-point-something GPA. Those are the easy kids. You come in with our target population, the kids that are, the lowest GPA that we've had was a 0.67, and that's a high school student. And those are the kids that we target. We don't want the easy kids because we feel that path is already kind of determined.
And it's difficult because the population, not only are they having, difficulties, in education, we just did a program in John Muir, they just don't believe they can do anything. They're like, just don't believe. It's like you're talking to them, it's like they just do not believe that anything good is coming out of them or anything good is coming out of the school, or that it's just a defeative, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. And then it's like you have to combat that on a consistent basis.
And that's why any program that when you're working with that target audience, one of the biggest challenges is that, people say, well, you have a tutoring program. If we could just do tutoring, that would be easy.
Exactly.
But you are working with a mindset of kids who have been told or been shown that they're not capable of doing it. We had one student, she kind of nailed it for me. This was some years ago. This kid had high GPA up until she hit the 8th grade, and she got 1 C in a class, and her grades plummeted from there. And I asked her, I said, here you were, all the way through elementary and part of middle school, you were gifted, whatever you want to call it. What happened? She said, when I got that C, she said, it was like, it told me, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. And she was on the verge of being failing school. We really had to work with her to get her back to the point where she realized that she was not that 1C grade did not define.
And I think you're absolutely right. And that's where, you know, when you're, I know Jennifer's taking notes, when you're talking to people, they they generally don't understand that.
They don't, no.
And it's like they think, okay, well, you got the curriculum, you got this, it should be easy.
Right.
But they don't understand all the issues
Exactly.
that you sometimes can't, you have to deal with this issue before you can get to the actual learning component.
Exactly.
Because you got to deal with just getting the youth to be able to say, okay, to try.
Exactly.
You know,
and that I deserve to have this.
Exactly.
You know, not only
Exactly.
not only can I do it, but I deserve to have it, because if you're dealing with a population where a child is in an environment that's not reinforcing to them, they start losing their sense of deserving. You know, maybe I don't deserve to achieve in life. You look at my family, nobody has in my family.
And therefore, I can never do it.
Exactly.
No, nobody else did.
Exactly.
So there's how can I possibly, you know, do that?
And I think about the number of kids that we have lost because we missed that one ingredient. You know, because I know when you look at your program and you see kids, these are the most capable kids in the world. You know, and all it takes is just that one little thing that goes off to bring them back up to realizing that they are. But you ask yourself the question, if you were not there, where would that child be?